what's probably better left unsaid, but thought before going to sleep, drowsy on antihistamines, and thinking, oh, a video a day, even at random times. I was just toying with the phrases of children and adolescents. Life isn't fair. Or you get what you deserve. And I was wondering how every child has a righteous understanding of what fair is. They have a very clear idea when they say, but that's not fair. And the general adult response to them is, nobody said life was fair. I don't know what play this is in. It's just one I remember seeing repeated over and over and over. But that's not fair. Nobody said life is fair. And there's another emotional feeling that I've had many times in my life I was thinking about this tonight while I was doing this Mantak Chia seminar on sexual qigong, sexual healing love, where somebody asked him a question about, like, so you said maybe that, like, if you do this practice with people who don't do it, then it's dangerous or you could hurt yourself. And he's like, no, it's more that it's kind of boring. It's like if you're playing tennis with somebody who doesn't know how to play tennis and you're really good at playing tennis, you keep throwing them the ball and they just keep dropping it, and it's just not really a lot of fun. It's really great that he's like a 76-year-old Chinese grandpa who's like teaching everybody about sex. I love it. And that he says shit like that. But earlier in the talk, he also talked about that women need to set up kind of like a grid of white light around their vagina because they get yeast infections frequently, because when men fuck them, they sometimes aren't clean, or maybe they have something, but just really more likely they just have a bunch of negative energy that they're dumping into women. And I'm working as a support staff, so I'm seeing all the messages that all the attendees, there's like 155 students watching this through Zoom, and there was some woman who chimed in, I'm so glad he mentioned something about men dumping negative energy into women. I've felt that for so long. And he's teaching this in a heterosexual paradigm, but it's not that uncommon for gay men as well. But anyway, while this was happening, I had a moment of feeling like an old emotional habitual feeling of like, why don't I have someone to play tennis with? I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people and they're like, yeah, I'm into that kind of thing, but they don't do anything. They just want to have sex and a kind of like ice cream candy with sugar and chocolate syrup on top without, any kind of meat or bones or humanity. It's so hard to judge people. What's the point? But anyway, there was a bit of remorse. And there I have a long emotional architecture about like, and then I'll meet I've talked about this a few times recently, and then I'll meet the person, and then once I have the right person, then everything will start, because then we'll be able to do all the things that I've imagined. And one of the things that I fall back on repeatedly is you get the life that you deserve. And I thought about this not in response to relationships. I thought about this phrase not in response to relationships, but when I was walking back to the room I'm sleeping in that's hot, and I was kind of counting my blessings slash counting my curses. It's nice to just count your blessings. You should just stop while you're ahead. But I'm, as I posted last night, I think was that last night? When I was walking back here, that in the mindset of like, oh, am I leaving here? Where am I going? What am I doing? Why am I leaving here? And just really appreciating that I can walk around naked a lot of places, and I can go shopping. Not that there's much to buy, but I can walk there. I don't need a car. I'm not in a nightmare lockdown situation where everybody needs masks and terror, fear, nightmare. I'm not in that. But I am hot as fuck and covered in hives. And I do have the ocean right outside my door that sings me to sleep and wakes me up. I have very poor internet, but it's enough. I guess just a whole bunch of things like rifled through my head about places you could live, situations you could be in, people you could be with. And there's a certain type of peace that comes from you get the life that you deserve. You have the life that you deserve. You have the partner that you deserve. You have the job that you deserve. You're in the situation that you deserve, for better or worse. And I think that that's a much nicer narrative or just fundamental belief system than, but that's not fair. Well, nobody said life is fair. To kind of believe that life is fair, but just incredibly complex, so hard to understand. Why do I deserve this and not that? What have I done that gives me this kind of like, B grade happiness? Yet happiness nonetheless. I think of this man down the street who worked for this woman in the place that I'm staying, the woman who owns it, who I haven't met yet. She had a guy, a Mexican boy, let's say, working for her for 27 years. And then he fucked her over and stole a bunch of land from her and sold it to some guy for a bunch of money. And now he has a house and a car and a couple kids and a wife. And he probably never would have had that if he would have just taken what she was paying him. But she gave him land to build a house. And then he had some paperwork drawn up that was a lie. I mean, he faked it and tricked her into signing it by lying to her, and then sold it for tons of money. And I walk by his house every day, and he always has music playing, and I can't help but think of how you always have to have music playing when you have guilt and shame. And he's still hustling. He's selling coconuts filled with alcohol and hamburgers on the main street. He's still working hard. He's still trying to be happy. It's like that thing I was saying, trying to talk about a couple days ago, that you can't ever find paradise. You can go to anywhere in the world and you're still there, and you get the life that you deserve. So whatever your challenges are, they'll be there. They'll just be in a new version. Be the same thing. I was just talking to these people that were in their 60s that were so unhappy about something that was so absurd. and just kind of, feeling, I felt a lot of sympathy and empathy for them because they were so unhappy and unable to articulate what was making them unhappy, when really all they were trying to say is, we don't want there to be anyone around us. We want everything the way we want it to be, and it's not, and it's impossible. I don't know. It was totally insane. But I mean, most misery is totally insane. Hi. Oh, hello. Oh, hi. Hi, guys. Hi. May you be happy. May we all have the happiness we deserve. Life is fair. Mm. I have this strip of LED lights that I can plug into a USB thing, and it's nice. You can change it to all sorts of colors, and I have it on red because I know that red doesn't dilate the eyes, so I can turn it on and then walk out and look out the stars, and I still have full vision, right? But of course, when I went down to the beach a couple nights ago and I left this light on, I looked up and it was like a red light shining out of this room. And one of the guys I'm teaching Qigong to is Dutch, so I was like, oh, I'm in the red light district, of course. Dominic living in the red light district. Mm. Whatever you got going on, may you be at peace. May you sleep well. May you have sweet dreams. Good night.